Students, this is mock test and questions are related to various aspects of agronomy. So, there are many questions, important questions. First question is, iso height is a line drawn on a map connecting points. So, iso heights are a line which connect the points of with equal. So, these are rainfall. Iso heights are the line of points join the equal rainfall, and if the line join the points of equal temperature, then it is known as isotherm. And in case of wind speed, it is isotach, and pressure it is isobar. So, sometimes such type of questions are asked, the line which join the points of equal wind, speed, pressure, rainfall or temperature. Then nucleus seed is produced under the supervision of. So, there is a series of seed production: nucleus seed, then breeder seed, foundation seed, certified seed. So, nucleus seed is the first prime seed and it is developed by the scientist, by the breeder. So, breeder first time developed the nucleus seed, then it is multiplied into breeder seed, then there are several steps for the development of registered and certified seeds. Summer deep plowing improves soil structure. Here question is related to improvement in soil structure. So, this is the advantage. This is the advantage of summer deep plowing: destruction of weeds, killing of insect, egg and larvae. These are advantages. But here the question is asked in relation to improvement of soil structure. So, it is not asked what are the advantages of summer deep plowing. If question is asked that what are the advantages, then correct option is all of these. But question is related to improvement in soil structure. How does soil structure improve? And it is because of alternate drying and cooling of soil. It results in improvement in soil structure. Next question is change in normal crop planning. Normal crop planning is changed to meet weather abnormalities. So, sometimes weather abnormalities may be drought condition or mid-season drought or flood, excess rainfall. There may be several abnormalities. So, when there are weather abnormalities, then crop planning is changed to grow the crop in the season, and such type of planning is known as contingent planning. So, contingent planning is done if there is abnormality in weather. The ratio of runoff volume of precipitation in a catchment area. How much is the runoff and how much is the precipitation? This ratio is known as runoff coefficient. If runoff is more, then runoff coefficient will be high. This question is generally asked in examination: cation exchange capacity of organic matter, and CEC of organic matter is very high and it is in the range of 250 to 400 centimole per kg soil. So, sometimes it is asked what is the unit, and the older unit is milli equivalent per 100 gram soil, but new unit is centimole per kg, and both the unit are equal. 1 milli equivalent per 100 gram soil is equal to 1 centimole per kg. So, these are the new unit which is used to express cation exchange capacity. Which of following decreases due to soil crust formation? So, when soil, suppose soil is there and crust is formed over this, then what is reduced? So, crust is there, definitely water is not infiltrate easily, this is the problem. Second, if seed is sown and crust formation is there, then this emerging seedling face resistance by crust, so emergence of seedling is poor. So infiltration is reduced, emergence of seedling is reduced, so here correct answer is both infiltration and emergence. But soil erosion increases because soil particles on surface, then they can be easily washed by runoff water. So in this case soil erosion increases, and here it is asked about decrease. The harmful effect of one plant on the other plant through release of chemical. So here chemicals are released, one plant release some chemical either by root or foliage, and these chemical inhibit the growth of other plant adversely, means one plant has negative impact on other plant through the release of chemical, not by competition. There may be competition, but here there is a release of chemical. So such type of phenomena is called allelopathy. And by competition, plant reduce the growth of other plant by competition for space, light, nutrients. So such phenomena is known as competition. But here there is a release of chemical. So that's why it is known as allelopathy. Allelo means chemical. Then gypsum is chemically. So gypsum is calcium sulfate 2H2O. So it is dihydrate. So it is calcium sulfate and dihydrate, and this calcium is very important for reclamation of alkali soil, and also a source of calcium and source of sulfur. So two major nutrients are present in gypsum, and also very important for reclamation of alkali soils. Which nutrient is largely available to plant by mass flow in soil? So there are three major, mainly two major pathway. First one is mass flow, second one is diffusion, through which nutrients are available to plant root, and third one is root interception and contact exchange. But this phenomena, root exchange and root interception and contact exchange contribution is hardly 1 to 2%, measured by mass flow and diffusion. And mass flow, water is present, water move and it carry the dissolved nutrient. So it means the nutrient which are soluble in water and present in solution are available through mass flow. If nutrient is fixed or in non-exchangeable form, then these nutrients are not available through mass flow. So nitrate remain in soil solution owing to anionic nature. So that's why it is available through mass flow. But P is in insoluble form, iron compounds, aluminum compounds, calcium compounds, and potassium is non-exchangeable form. So these two are very little amount is available through mass flow and measured by diffusion. So this question may be asked, by which phenomena phosphorus and potassium is available to plant. So answer is diffusion. Nitrogen by mass flow. Here there is a pair and which is not correctly matched. So canopy temperature is measured by infrared thermometer, this is correct. Field capacity and permanent building point also by pressure membrane apparatus, it is also correct. Relative humidity by psychrometer, this is also correct. But this pyranometer is used for solar radiation. And the soil moisture tension is known by tensiometer. So that's why this pair is not correctly matched. Another question is N318, 318 constant was given by. So what is N318? First know what is N318, and this is constant, means value is fixed. So this constant says that any crop in its life cycle absorb 318 pound nitrogen per acre. if it is allowed to grow with full potential, then in its single growth cycle, any crop, whatever cereal, pulse or any other crop, then maximum it can absorb 318 pound nitrogen per acre. And this was given by Wilcox. Actually, Wilcox developed a new branch, agrobiology, and he gave the concept of this N38 concept and inverse yield nitrogen law. Inverse yield nitrogen law. And these two laws are related with each other. And according to inverse yield nitrogen law, if yield is increases, then nitrogen content in the plant decreases. For example, pulse yield is low as compared to sugarcane. So yield is low, that's why its nitrogen content is high. But in case of sugarcane, yield is very high and its nitrogen content is low. So these laws were postulated by Wilcox and developed a new science, agrobiology. So this question may be asked, who developed the agrobiology? And Liebig, we know that Liebig gave the law of minimum, and Mr. Leach gave the diminishing yield return, and Black Mine gave the law of limiting factor. So these are scientists and their related work. Troll classified the tropical climate. Troll and Thornwett are very important scientists who classified the climate, and they classified the tropical climate, Troll, on the basis of humid months in a year. How many humid months are in a year? On this basis, he classified the climate. Then rainfall variability is calculated by. So this is related to statistical question. Any variability, whether it is temperature, yield, or wind speed, or plant height, any variability in the factors may be any factor, then it is calculated by CV, coefficient of variation. So this is the coefficient of variation, and CV is equal to standard deviation divided by mean into 100. So this is the formula. This is standard deviation. And this mu is mean. So sometimes this formula is asked. So any type of variability is calculated with the help of coefficient of variation known as CV. Planting of succeeding crop before harvest of main crop in a sequence is called. So suppose this is a crop life cycle, this is sowing and this is harvesting. Then this is this is a simple method. This is the first crop. Then after the harvest of first crop, second crop is sown. There is an interval of 10 days, 15 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and then harvesting. So this is the normal phenomena. But there is a system when the crop is sown and before, this is the harvesting time, but the second crop is sown before the harvest of this crop. So this is the first crop and here second crop is sown. This system is known as relay cropping, just as a relay race. So where one crop is sown before the preceding crop is harvested, known as relay cropping. In catch cropping, short duration crop is grown in the season, and double cropping, 2 crops are grown. Intensive cropping, many crops and many inputs are used in intensive cropping. A watershed is a hydrological unit. It is not land area. It is not only, though it has a land area, it has a water collecting body, it has water harvesting structure in watershed. But broadly, it is a hydrological unit. The concept of potential evapotranspiration (PET) and water balance for climate classification was first used by this Thornwett. So, Thornwett work is very important, and first time he used the concept of potential ET. Then global warming potential GWP of CO2 gas is, so CO2 gas global warming potential is considered 1, and on this basis the global warming potential of other gases like methane, nitrous oxide is calculated. The value of sustainability yield index SYI of pulses range between. So, this sustainability yield index of any crop. So, this pulse word is given just for confusion, otherwise it is used for any crop, whether it is cereal or oilseed or tuber crop or sugar crop. For any crop, sustainability yield index is used, and its range is 0 to +1, maybe 0.67, maybe 0.52, maybe 0.43, and maximum value is 1. So, this sustainability yield index indicates how much crop perform consistently in the region. If sustainability yield index is high, it means this crop can be grown successfully without risk in the region. Most of the crops exhibit albedo in the range. Albedo is reflectance, it indicates how much light is reflected back. It depends upon the nature of the body, whether it is a black body or shining body, and this reflectance albedo depends upon the canopy color, canopy coverage, etc. And for most of the crop it is 0.15 to 0.25. It means 15 to 25% radiation is reflected back by the canopy. How much radiation is on canopy, and out of this 15 to 25% is reflected back into the atmosphere. The resistance of soil to deformation and rupture is called. So, if we are applying a force to destroy the soil structure, and this phenomena, because soil offer a resistance to applied force, and this is known as soil consistency. High soil consistency indicate more force requirement for its deformation. Then hydrometer method is used to determine. Hydrometer method is used to determine particle size distribution, how much sand is present, how much silt is present, and how much clay is present in a soil. Then soil texture is defined. So, it means it is helpful in knowing the soil texture. So, this hydrometer method is very important to knowing the soil texture. In a sandy soil, the movement of, this is a very conceptual question, in sandy soil macropores are more. Macropores are more and micropores are very less. And micropores are responsible for retention of water. They retain the water through capillary force, and the macropores water movement is very easy. They cannot retain the moisture for a longer period. Capillary action or capillary force is weak because radius is more, R is high. That's why capillary retention is less. Force required to retain the moisture against gravitational force is less in macropores, and that's why they drain water very easily. Then air can move easily in this macropore. So, in macropore, the movement of water as well as air is very high. So, here the correct option is movement of air and water is high. So, there is more aeration in sandy soil. But the problem is that movement of water is also high. So, moisture availability in sandy soil is less, but aeration is high. CO2 content of soil air is generally. So, this question is generally asked and has been asked in many examinations. It is 0.3% and it is 10 times higher than atmospheric air. In atmosphere it is 0.03% and here it is 0.3%. So, it may be asked CO2 concentration in soil air as compared to atmospheric air is how many times higher? 2 times, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. So, it is 10 times. Oxidized layer of soil have. So, first understand what is oxidized layer. Suppose it is soil and it is submerged with the water and water ponding is over soil surface. So, here whole water is present inside the soil and on upper side of soil and all the air is escaped. Then anaerobic condition is there, then its oxidation means ability, we can correlate this oxidation with the availability of oxygen. So, there is no air, so oxidation or we can say oxidized conditions are reduced, are low and reduced condition are high. But if water is present inside the soil, so top layer or water is below the some centimeter below the soil. So, water is present here, so this is oxidized layer. So, air is present means oxygen is present. So, there is more oxidized condition and this is this has positive redox potential. Redox means reduction and oxidation. This is termed as redox. So, if air is more means oxygen is more, then redox is high means positive. If air is low means oxygen is low, then redox is low. So, this question may be asked in such condition that in a waterlogged field redox is. So, in this case redox will be negative, but in oxidized layer it is always positive. Next question is, which has crop intensification only in time dimension. So, it is asked about crop intensification. So, crop intensification occur in 2 dimension. First in space dimension means suppose we have 1 hectare area or 1 acre area, then increase the number of crop in the same season by intercropping or mixed cropping or incorporating more number of crops. So, this is space intensification because we are increasing the number of crops in a space. And in time dimension, this 1 year length, so increase the number of crops in 1 year. So, may double cropping, triple cropping, quadruple cropping or multiple cropping. So, here row intercropping and mixed cropping are intensification in space and sequential cropping is crop intensification in time because we are increasing the number of crops in 1 year. So, this is the correct answer. Sustainable agriculture does not aim to. So, first know what is the definition of sustainable agriculture. Definition says that sustainable agriculture is successful management of resources to satisfy changing human need while maintaining the quality of the environment. So, it considers 3 things. Number 1, successful management of resources. So, this one. Then to satisfy changing human need, maybe food, feed, fiber, whatever, and maintain the quality of environment means enhance the environmental quality. So, these 3 come under sustainable agriculture. So, this maximize crop productivity is not aim the sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture does not aim at maximum production of crop, it aims at successful management of resources. Then material used for vertical mulch. So, what is vertical mulch? This vertical mulch is used in high runoff area or slopey area or in clay rich soil where infiltration is low and runoff is high, then water move, runoff is more. So, at a regular interval trenches are made at 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter, and then water is intercepted in these trenches so that their velocity is reduced and runoff is less, as well as soil erosion is less. So then volume of water will be less with the length of the field, and to increase the water holding capacity of these trenches, some vegetative material is put into the trenches like cut shrubs, twigs, branches, leaf material, and these are organic material and enhance the water holding capacity owing to organic matter presence. So that's why vegetative material is used for vertical mulch. So this mulch material is put vertically into the trench. So that's why it is known as vertical mulch. So this is used in high runoff area where runoff is a problem. So this question may be asked, in which area vertical mulch is used? In high runoff area. The growth curve of crop plant is generally, so if we look the growth curve, it is like that: initially slow growth, then very fast growth, then this one. So this initially slow growth, then very fast growth, then stagnation, then reduction, and this is sigmoid growth curve. So correct answer is sigmoid. So all the plants have sigmoid growth curve, means they have initially slow growth, then they have very rapid high growth. Hedgerow intercropping is an example of. Here hedgerow intercropping means some hedges are planted at a certain distance, maybe 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter. Suppose this is 30 meter space, suppose, and then hedges are planted. And in between these hedges, crops are grown as an intercrop. This is known as hedgerow intercropping. And these hedgerow have multiple use, like provide leaves for animal feed, fix atmospheric nitrogen if they are of leguminous family, provide the fuel. So this is known as or example of LA cropping, because LA is formed by this hedgerow. So this is an example of LA cropping, because in LA cropping, LA are formed by planting trees at a regular interval. So here this hedgerow make LA, and in LA crops are grown. So this is very good example of LA cropping. So this was about the mock test based on several questions on different aspects of agronomy. Thank you very much.